This lesson is 2.5, writing equations from graphs. Okay, so our goal here is to find the slope and the y-intercept, and then to write the equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And notice that your slope is going to be your m value, and your b value is going to come from the y value of your y-intercept. So wherever x is 0, that's where you're going to find your y-intercept, okay? So let's do an example. Let's take this graph, for example. So we're going to start by drawing this graph. So if you draw a graph nice and tall, you can draw a point at 0, 5 and a point at 2, 2, okay? So you have those points, go ahead and draw this line through them. Make sure this example is nice and neat, easy to tell what's going on. So let's go ahead and go through each piece of this. If you need to pause the video, like always, you can just pause the video and come back when you're ready, okay? So first off, we're going to find the m value, which is the slope, right? We're going to find m and we're going to find b. So m value here is what you get when you do rise over run. So our rise is actually going down -3. Now we're at the same level here. And then our run is to go to the right 2. So our slope here is -3 over 2, okay? And then our y-intercept value comes from wherever it crosses the y-axis, we need to look for that y value. And here we're already given a point, 0, 5, and so our b value ends up being, just like it is right here, ends up being 5. So 5. And so if I put it into y equals mx plus b form, y equals m, our m value was -3.5, or sorry, not 3.5, -3/2, x plus b, which is 5. Okay, so that's how we got that. And that's our final answer for that. Okay, so go ahead and do page 74, numbers 1 and 2, and then come back to this video. I'll let you go ahead and pause right now. All right, let's go ahead and do these. So looking at these problems, I went ahead and filled them in. I felt like I could just show you the answers on these so you can check and see if you're doing them correctly. So if you want to pause and look here, I'll kind of quickly go over them here in a second, but you can just check your work for a second. Okay, so I got the 2x plus 2 here from checking the slope. So I went up 2 over 1. And when I went up 2 over 1, I ended up getting 2 over 1 for my slope, which is just 2. And then I looked to see where it was crossing the y-axis, which it's crossing at 2. You can clearly see that wherever x is 0, what's y? What's 2? So that's how I got y equals 2x plus 2. Okay, checking number 2, I follow the slope, so I always follow the rise first. So is it going up or down? Well, here it's going down, so I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have to go over 1, 2, 3. So I got -4, which is because I went down, over 3. -4 over 3 is now my slope. And then what's my y value when I'm crossing the y-axis? Well, I'm given that point right here, 0, -1, so I got -1. So when I go to write it, it's now y equals -4/3 x minus 1. I'm not going to put plus -1. I'm just going to put those two things together. The plus negative becomes just -1. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next thing. What if I have no graph? What if I only know the points and I don't actually have a graph for it? Well, let's do an example. So I think that's the best way to do it. So what I'm going to have to do, if I have 2 points, I have 2, 6, and 0, 7, is I'm going to have to first find the slope, and ignore the answer right here. We're going to go through this part first. So first I need to find the slope. So in order to find the slope, I need to use my equation from the previous lesson where we learned how to solve for the slope. It's going to be y2 minus y1. So I'm going to label these x1, y1, y2, or x2, y2, and then I'm going to take my y2 value, which is 7, minus my y1 value, which is 6, okay? And then I'm going to take my x2 value, which is 0, and then my x1 value, so minus 2. So I get 1 on top, negative 2 on bottom, which is just negative 1/2. So that's my m value. And here I just identify, oh, when x equals 0, y equals 7. So my b value is 7. So altogether my answer is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 7. That's my answer for that. All right, go ahead and try this on your own. Try number 3 on page 75. So go ahead and pause. And welcome back. So we got this one right here, 0, 5, and 4, 5, okay? So something strange is gonna happen here because we have the same y value. So when you go to subtract those two values, 5 minus 5, and 4 minus 0. 5 minus 5 makes 0, 4 minus 0 equals 4. Okay, now we have a 0 on top, so 0 divided by 4 makes 0. So we can still find an answer even though our answer was 0. Let's go ahead and do that. So first off, my m value is 0. So I'm plugging it in right here, y equals 0x. And then I'm going to look for my b value, which is going to come from wherever x is 0. What's my y value? It's 5. So I'm going to add 5. Here's the thing though. If I have 0x, this 0 is just going to cancel out the x. If that's the case, then my final answer is just y equals 5. Believe it or not, that's an equation. That still counts. So we're going to box that up. You do not want to write 0x into this answer. You're going to get rid of it as soon as you see a 0. Okay? All right. So that's it for that section. So let's go ahead and do a challenge problem now. So this challenge problem is kind of the question of, well, I've been able to find my b value pretty easily because I'm always just given the b value. But what happens if you don't have the b value and you need to find it? I'll show you. So like before, remember that our goal here is to get y equals mx plus b, which means I need to find my m value, and then I need to find my b value, okay? So m equals something and b equals something. In order to find my m value, first I need to label these points, x1, y1, x2, y2, okay? Use my formula, m equals y2. So actually I'll just write this because I haven't written this yet. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Okay, let's go ahead and solve it then. M equals y2, which is 6, minus y1, which is negative 3. Okay. And then x2, which is negative 2, minus x1, which is 4. Okay. This becomes minus a negative makes it plus 3. This becomes negative 6. So I get 9 over negative 6. And if I simplify that, that becomes negative 3 over 2. So I get negative 3 over 2 for my m value. Okay. That was kind of a bit of a complicated one. But let's go ahead and use this m value now to help us find the b value. So like I said, I don't know what the b value is, so I'm going to have to solve for it right now. So I'm going to plug in the information I do know. I've got y equals my m value, which is negative 3 halves x, and then plus, and this is the part I don't know yet. So what do I do whenever I don't know something? I just put a variable there, so I'm going to put b there. Okay, well, remember that in an equation, if I plug in an x value, I always get the corresponding y value. But I already have an x value and a corresponding y value. In fact, I have 2 sets of them, right? So I'm just going to pick which one I think is easiest to calculate. So for me, I look at this and I think that the first set of points is easiest to calculate. So now I'm going to plug these in. Plug this in for x, plug this in for y. And now I'm going to replace them. Negative 3 equals negative 3 halves times 4 plus b. Okay? And now from here, I just solve. So negative 3 times 4 makes negative 12. Negative 12 divided by 2 makes negative 6. Okay? And now I need to move that negative 6. In order to move that negative 6, I got to add 6 to both sides. So now my final answer is B equals 3. Note that's not my final answer. That just helped me fill in this last piece I needed. And now I can write in my final answer. Remember, my goal is to write it in the form y equals mx plus b. So y equals, my m value is negative 3/2, x plus b, which is 3. That's my final answer. All right, that's it.